Hello everyone, and welcome to the February edition of What I Eat in a Day Mediterranean Diet. In February, the vegetables that are in season are pretty much the same ones that were in season in January, but this month we're going to make different choices. And I also want to make dinner tonight in courses, because a lot of times when you go to an Italian restaurant, they eat dinner in courses. So you'll have an appetizer, then you'll have a primi, and then you'll have your entree. And it's just a nice, slow way of having dinner. You can enjoy good conversation, maybe a little wine, and at the end of the meal you're very satisfied, but it kind of takes a couple of hours, and you just really enjoy the event of dining and you get to savor your food. So come along for the day. For breakfast, we're gonna make some polenta. I just have the instant polenta here. It cooks in 3 minutes and it makes a nice, comforting, warm breakfast. It's Italian cornmeal. Kind of reminds me of grits if you've ever eaten grits. You can make it sweet or savory. And today I'm going to make it with bananas and drizzle on a little bit of honey. I'm following the package instructions, which is to boil some water with a little salt, and then you take the water off the heat and you stir in the polenta, and because it's instant, you just stir it for a few minutes until it gets soft. Our water is boiling. We're going to remove it from the heat and add the polenta. I'm in the car now. We're on our way to Whole Foods, and we have some lovely farms and supermarkets near us, but Whole Foods is about a 30-minute drive away. But they just have some really beautiful food sometimes that you can't get at the other markets. So we're gonna go there, and I'll give you a little tour when we're in the place. Collard greens. Let's get some collard greens, and then when we have leftover risotto from dinner tonight, we can stuff them. Essential oils, handmade soaps. Look how pretty this one is. Mission complete, finished at Whole Foods. Don't forget to take a water break every now and then. Here's our haul from Whole Foods. So we have this large container of mushrooms. You can do so many things with mushrooms. And some Vidalia onions. They're the little sort of flat looking shaped onions. They're sweet onions. They're really good for flavoring things. They're really good on fish. Bought some grape tomatoes, these beautiful collard greens, and bought these brioche rolls, some edamame, some halloumi cheese, which is a really great Greek cheese for flavoring things. I have a Greek chicken dish that I'll probably do one of these months, and I'll let you see how I make that. It's a kind of cheese, it's a soft cheese, but it doesn't melt, and it's good for things like sandwiches and things. You can actually even put it on the grill. It doesn't melt all over the place. Got this container of lemon hummus, because it just sounds good, lemon hummus. And this little Gouda cheese that I like. At Whole Foods, they have a little bin there where they have sample sizes of cheese, and you can get cheeses for under $1 sometimes, and it's a great way to try them. Got some smoked salmon, baby spinach, these mini quiche appetizers, these appetizers, which are potato and pea samosas. I love the coffee that they have at Whole Foods, so I get this Allegro brand. I get the French decaf, and then sometimes I mix in a little of the Italian roast. And then I couldn't help it, I bought these little tea cakes for Valentine's Day. They're so sweet. For lunch, I'm going to make an avocado salad, which is basically I'm going to slice up an avocado, put a little dressing on it, and garnish it with these grape tomatoes. And as a side dish, I'm going to use some leftover salsa on some Italian bread. I never know what to do with leftover salsa, but I always hate to throw it away. The next day, it kind of tastes really oniony, but I discovered if you toast some bread and you spread it on the bread, it makes a really good accompaniment to the avocado salad. And if you want to learn how I make my salsa, I'll put a link up above to a video where I'm making my salsa recipe. One of the courses for tonight's dinner is going to be this spicy Calabrian shrimp recipe. You can see the picture here, don't they look so beautiful? Oh, yum. It's from Giada's Italy book. It's her recipes for La Dolce Vita. And you know I'm all about La Dolce Vita. For our first course, we're going to stuff some endive leaves with ricotta cheese. I have some part skim ricotta here. And we've chopped up some red bell pepper, some red onion, and we have some grape tomatoes chopped up here with a little bit of salt and pepper on them. We're going to mix that with the ricotta cheese, and then we're going to stuff the endive. For the second course, I'm making spicy Calabrian shrimp. So in this bowl, I have some Parmesan cheese. Actually, it's Romano cheese. And I'm adding a very tiny bit of this Calabrian chili paste. It's very, very hot, so be cautious. I'm adding a little bit of oregano and some olive oil. And I'm going to stir this up. And we're going to use this to dip our shrimp in. And then we're going to put it on some parchment paper and bake it in the oven at 425 for about 8 to 10 minutes. It depends on what size your shrimp are. Just keep an eye on them. They don't take very long at all. But look at that. spoon over whatever's left. Shrimp out of the oven. I'm going to put the shrimp in these radicchio leaves. Entree this evening, we're making a Caprese risotto. First thing we're going to do is make some stock. So we're going to combine these Italian whole tomatoes with some vegetable stock, and we're going to season it with some bay leaves, some Italian seasoning, and some crushed red pepper, and probably some salt and black pepper too. Here we have a 28-ounce can of Italian-style peeled tomatoes, and we're going to squish them up by hand because we don't want them to be whole. Oh, it's such a satisfying feeling when you do that. And to this we're going to add 2 cups of broth. This is the vegetable broth. And then we're going to add our spices. In go the bay leaves. 1, 2, 3. And the Italian spice, and the red pepper flakes to taste. We're going to stir this up now, and then we're going to heat it up and bring it up to a simmer because we want it to be hot when we start incorporating it into the rice. Oh, this is coming along nicely. We're going to lower the heat on this and start to prepare the rice. For the risotto base, it's always a good idea to have a shallot in your risotto. So we're going to chop up very finely a couple of tiny little carrots here, some garlic cloves, and some shallot. And now we're sauteing these vegetables with a little bit of butter and a little bit of olive oil. Now that we have this warmed up, we're going to add about a cup of our borio rice. Now as we stir this in, it's going to absorb this liquid, and then we're going to add a little bit of white wine, and then we're going to start incorporating the tomato and vegetable stock mixture. And with risotto, you just keep stirring and adding liquid till it absorbs it, and keep stirring and adding liquid, and you just keep doing that until it's ready. Isn't it beautiful already? Our borio rice is so pretty. It's like little pearls. Now we're ready for our first ladle of the tomato mixture. And we'll just stir that in. We'll just keep incorporating it a little bit at a time. It looks so good already. Oh my god. If you find that your rice is not getting soft enough, you can add a little water to this dish. We've added 2 ladles of hot water. The rice is soft now. I'm just going to cook this for a little bit more to burn off some of the liquid, so it's not so wet. One final step, add some cheese. It's not risotto if it doesn't have cheese. Ready for plating. And now for the caprese part, some fresh mozzarella. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's recipes and spending the day with me. And I can't wait to do the March edition of the Mediterranean diet. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to know exactly when I publish a new video. And thanks for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.